Now I'm finally actually getting interviews, which is so exciting and so nerve-wracking. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Megan and I post new videos every Wednesday. Today I wanted to share with you guys how I prep for a job interview. Now that I'm graduated from college, I've been sending out so many job applications, and now I'm finally actually getting interviews, which is so exciting and so nerve-wracking. And I am starting to figure out how I can prep for these interviews to feel really confident and comfortable when I go in about how the interview is going to go for me. So today is the day of my interview. It's about 4.5 hours until I have my interview. And I started yesterday filming, showing you what I do the day before, but I went to check my clips today and the audio wasn't working. So sorry if it's a little funky now. I had to take out my microphone. I'm gonna have to figure that out later, but I'll kind of tell you what I did yesterday to prepare so you have an idea of what you missed. So the first thing I did was go over my salary expectations. I don't necessarily expect that to come up with this initial interview, but just in case it does, I want to have my number prepared. So how I went about doing that was I looked up the average salary for the role I was applying for, the average salary in the state that I was applying for that role. Sometimes I'll do city, but either city or state. And then I start to look up the actual salary that company provides. You won't always find it, but it's worth checking out and seeing if you can find that listed. And sometimes, even if you don't find what their average salary is for the role you're applying for, you can find what they pay for other roles and see how that compares against market value. So it's not going to tell you exactly, but it might tell you if they tend to underpay, go about with market value, or overpay. And that way you have an idea of how you should be asking in comparison with the specific company that you're applying for. Then I kind of look at those numbers and look at, based on my experience and skills that I'm bringing to the table, where I would put my ask. So I went ahead and did that yesterday and got that number prepared. And then the next thing I did was research the actual company that I'm applying to and have this interview for. So that way I'm really familiar with the brand and the company, what they do, what they might be looking for, and I can mention any specifics in the actual call to show that I'm actually familiar with who they are and that I'm serious about wanting the position, that I'm not just like, oh, whatever, any old job, right? So I went ahead and did that, and then from there I have a document with common interview questions that I filled out using that information and with that perspective to make sure that my answers could align with what I think would be most beneficial in this particular specific interview. And the other thing I did was I prepared my supporting documents. So my resume, my portfolio, analytics for projects that I've worked on that show growth that I was personally responsible for. Anything like that that I might want to bring up during the interview, I have it already set in a place so I don't have to go searching for it. I can just pull it up quickly and say, oh, and by the way, XYZ. So I got all of that prepared. Now today, we are back on track. This morning, I got a full night's sleep. I woke up early. I had to take my mom to the airport, so did that. And then I made sure to make my bed. I put on an outfit, one that I would be happy with being seen in on camera, that's professional and all of that, but also that I feel good in and that I feel comfortable wearing all day, because I like to be set. I don't have to rush to get ready right before the interview. So I'm good in this, and I do my makeup so I feel really confident. I feel more productive, and pretty privilege is a thing. So if I can add onto this in any way, I'm gonna do it. And I make sure I make my bed, just everything I can to feel pulled together and like I'm the person for the job, right? Like I'm pulling that environment around me so I'm feeling it, so I can help convince whoever's interviewing me to feel it too. So now that I'm the day of, I've done all of those things, I'm going to go ahead and look through the answers I wrote to the common interview questions yesterday and start just practicing them. I don't want to have to read off the paper if they ask me anything. I'd like to be able to already have it set in my head. So I'm going to go ahead and practice with those now for a little bit. Okay, I just went through the interview questions that I prepared with my sister and read them off to her. She gave me some feedback, and what we kind of decided going forward is it's going to be better for me to have those questions prepared more like a week in advance rather than doing those details the day before and more reviewing them the day before and the day of, because that way I'll feel more set in the answers and they'll be more kind of in my brain rather than so fresh that I'm kind of stumbling over those answers. So we practiced them a few times. I've got them enough in my head that I can kind of improvise on them, but for future we're going to kind of play on a week before rather than the day before. So that's something new that I'm going to start doing. Now we are about 15 minutes out, so the nerves have started to set in. What I'm doing now is just kind of the last minute stuff. I'm signing into Zoom to make sure that everything in my background looks clear because I don't do the blurred background. So I'm just gonna like start a meeting on Zoom, and I'm literally doing that right now. And yeah, everything in my background looks fine, so I don't need to clean anything up, which is good to know. Now I'm going to make sure everything's up how I need it to be. I'm going to pull up the invitation so that way I can easily click onto the meeting when it starts. I'm not like fumbling around for it. And what I'm going to do now is to help with the nerves, I'm going to listen to some songs that kind of just make me feel good and motivate me and are going to kind of pump me up, put me in a good mood, think good thoughts to myself, and then I'll get on the call and I will give you a quick little update with how it went when I'm done. So this is going to be pretty much the end of the tips portion of the video, so I hope this was helpful. If you have any of your own tips, I would really appreciate it if you put them in the comments. This is a collaborative kind of video. We're helping each other here, so I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, I just got off my call. I'm sure you can tell that I feel like it went really well. I got invited for a second interview, and I think what made me feel really good about the call was, you know, what I talked about before I got on. My sister and I said that it felt like I was kind of just reading off of a script rather than having natural answers, and that's why I should start working on them earlier so they're not like recent in my mind, they're like really solid in there. And we had to switch to a video call, or we had to switch from a video call to a phone call, and I was able to glance at the notes I had, but make it sound a lot more natural and just do that more, and I felt really good about it, and I felt like I was answering well, and I felt like the teacher's pet in me was having such a great time. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I feel really good about how I prepared for this and how that helped me in the actual interview. So I hope that this is helpful for you as well. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you wanna see any other kind of videos on my channel, please let me know in the comments section. And if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and press the notification bell so you don't miss any of my new videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye!